of both, right? So I think for me going into the next game for LGD, Xiao8 actually plays the most important role in the next game, even though he's not even playing, because the team needs to get into the right mind space. They need to get the belief that they can win, and then I think the adjustment they need is that draft. I like the IO suggestion to try something else. It bombed out 2 games now. You're playing as a team that clearly knows what to do about it, so you can still come back.
What are your first phase bans, though? Are you still going to do Mag Mars? Because I think you have to target Collapse.
Again, the key thing here is the fact that PSG had the choice of going first or second pick, right? And they themselves put them in the position of allowing Spirit to ban out the Tiny and the Monkey, forcing themselves to either ban the IO themselves or pick it, right? So in this position, it does feel like you'd like to see something different from PSG. The IO hasn't really worked out. Just add some more stunts, add that ability to break down the map a little bit better, and then they should be in a good stead. And going back to the point of PSG and expectations, if you think about Spirit and how they got here, they just played the lower bracket game, right? They're 1 game down, they win game 2, they win game 3. Like that momentum, that is so hard to attain, in any competition, right? So that is very much why they're feeling confident. And of course, you do have the head kissing versus the belly rubs, and therefore head kissing is 2 up right now.
All right, gentlemen, here they come. It is time very soon. We'll see game 3 of this grand finals, and this 3rd game could potentially be the last. Right now, Team Spirit is up 2-0, and it has only happened once before that a team was able to 3-0 their opponent in a grand finals. PSG LGD, we know they have it in them. They're first out in that game 4, but we need them to believe in themselves and in their draft as well. We know also that they can do it. Faith Beyond and Vi both have already got a TI win under their belts. They won TI 6 with wins. We have seen Ame being in the grand finals. TI 8, of course, that was one of the closest grand finals we have had, and unfortunately I wasn't able to take it, but it's getting very close, and we knew that the pressure there might have been a little bit too much, but we know that he can do better than what he is showing right now, Timo.
Yeah, it's just so difficult, right? Like when you're 2-0 down, this is really where you need to kind of just come together, and even if, like you say, one person hasn't been standing up or the team hasn't been performing to their best potential, they just need to rally around what they've been doing well to get to this point, right? Like they're in the grand finals, they've clearly been doing something right, so this is where you just need to break that off, reset, go again, treat it like it's the first game in the series.
That is so hard to do. It sounds so easy when we say it. Hey, just don't think about that you're 2 games down. Just play a game of Dota, Tsunami. How hard is it?
But the problem is they've just now lost as many games in this grand finals as they have throughout the entire tournament.
True.
I don't know if they're used to losing. They have having to repair is a challenge, and Spirit has had to repair on their journey here, and having that lower bracket run coming into the past 2 days, playing 2 series means that in their 2nd series they're already warmed up. LGD was sitting here waiting for the secret series to finish. They have not had to be on the back foot and be like, oh my gosh, okay, we gotta change our dynamic. I have no doubts that Xiao8 would be able to deal with that, but it needs to come now or you're gonna lose.
Isn't it kind of crazy to think about that no matter what the score is in this grand finals, LGD has a better win rate at this tournament than Spirit?
Yeah, that's true.
By far. Like, it's not even close.
No,
like,
yeah, it's not.
Even if they 3-0, their win rate is still way worse. So that's what finals are about. Like, it's the final game. Have you got it when it matters the most? So far, Spirit definitely do. Yeah, for me, I'm just super excited to see the draft because I think this 3rd game is very telling about the mentality. When you're kind of broken like this, when you're down 0-2, there's like 2 approaches to take. There's the crazy approach where you just throw everything out the window, you do something completely different, and there's the one where you're like stubborn to the, like almost to the limit, right? Where you're like, no, we can still win with this damn IO. We're gonna try the 3rd time in a row, and we're gonna adjust some of the bans. So I'm really curious. And I honestly, depending on your perspective on it, I think I can see both approaches as a sign of strength and a sign of weakness. So it's kind of hard to just say out of the first 2, but I really want to see what they're thinking right now.
But do you want to be the team that potentially loses 3-0 in the grand finals to the underdog, just going IO every single time, not really changing it up?
I think that's something you kind of have to nod in your head, right?
Yeah.
You gonna have to shut that out. I mean, as repetitive as it sounds, you gotta treat this game as a fresh game, a standalone game, not having the pressure of $13 extra million on your head, not having the pressure of an entire region on your head, not having the pressure of Coach Xiao8 on your head, and everything that comes with winning the international. And you just gotta behind you. Pub, and you know what? Nothing to say. He's been playing so many pubs. He is the world-ranked 1 player. I feel like we haven't really seen him step up that much yet tonight. Is that because of his heroes that he's been playing today?
I think partly the heroes that he's playing, but also the heroes that his team is playing. I think that he hasn't been given the correct draft to let him pop off on a thing like Ember Spirit that we were talking about. Give him some cheap initiation that he can get in and out. Give Spirit a taste of their own medicine, because so far, every time you're running an IO strat, it's more on the shoulders of Ame to finish the game off, and that has not been happening.
So to beat Team Spirit, you gotta pick a Spirit, Tito.
Maybe so. I actually hate spirits, don't forget that.
But
no,
you like to break a spirit.
I do like to break a spirit. But yeah, Team Spirit, you know, their second pick, right? So in both the previous 2 games. So in the draft order, that simply means that they get to pick the core after seeing 4 heroes, and the mid after seeing all 5 of PSG 2 times in a row. So we mentioned the idea of the impact of Army, the impact of nothing to say. It is a product of the Lesh was a sacrificial type pick in the draft. You know, this Pangolier was kind of thrown out there, you know, not a comfort from nothing to say. So I would really love to see either they shift around their first pick drafting style to enable the players a bit more, or take that second pick one time and just give it a go where they actually get to go, okay, this is our best core in the game, this is our best read on the game, and give it a go. Because right now, Spirit is utilizing that 18 and 24 very well.
Yeah, let's see what's gonna happen. It is time for Game 3 of this Grand Finals.
Team Spirit versus PSG LGD. Grand Finals, Game 3.
Welcome again to the draft panel of the Grand Finals for Game 3 between Team Spirit and Team LGD. And honestly, no questions this time, because I really want to see exactly how they've adapted their bans to Team Spirit's lineup. We actually saw that LGD, they were choosing first pick before, but they made an adjustment here and they took second pick.
Yeah, it means that now this is all about Team Spirit. Team Spirit is in the driving seat more than ever. They are forcing LGD to, they're making them second guess themselves. They're making the 15-1 group stage team, the upper bracket dominant team, they're making them completely question everything that brought them so far. And that's crazy. So now Team Spirit is leading the charge. LGD is switching things up, maybe trying to put the players back in their comfort zone. We were sitting there watching their body language with Johan, like this pre-stage kind of area. You know, Chawet, arms crossed, them looking at their feet, not looking at each other, not sharing, you know, energy. This is what you need when you're back against the wall. You need to be there for each other. You need to bring the momentum back. You have to create it somehow, because obviously the Dora is not bringing it. And on the other side, you have Silent talking to them, and they're all looking at it, kind of drinking whatever word he's giving them, and they're uniting, you know, feeling, you know, bringing the uprising energy.
It's two completely different teams right now from what we could see body language wise. I wonder if this change-up will make them feel slightly better, because now it's a new page, new book. Chawet is going to go back to a second pick. Maybe that will give them some type of confidence boost or belief in now what they're going to do. I do think that they need to play harder, play better. Team Spirit is showing up today, and LGD, they need to bring their A game every game.
And we see, like, even though they lost last game, even though they're down 2-0, I think this might actually be a good sign for LGD. Yes. They're still confident, even against what Collapse showed on the Magnet. I think this is the first time I've really seen people pick the right counters against Magnus.
Finally.
You need to deal with the skewer, right?
It is finally coming up, and I also want to mention, like, this is the beauty of Dota. Magnus has dominated many patches. It has dominated many years for different reasons. It has been about Empower at times. It has been about RP at times. This Magnus is about skewer. It's about repositioning a hero in a way where the fight is so unfair for one team. But this skewer play is stoppable. It's stoppable by a Rubik Lift, probably one of the best tools in the game. Yule Scepter, you know, Lion Hack, like you Force Staff. There are ways to stop this skewer from happening. This Magnus doesn't buy BKB early in the game. He's playing with Force Staff, either lens, like, and you have to stop it. And I love the confidence from LGD in a way. You know, maybe Chawet, maybe somebody in that booth is telling them, hey, I know this Magnus looks strong, it looks unbeatable, it is beatable. Stop this skewer play. Now you end up with a Magnus stuck in the fight, pull down skewer, he's just gonna die. No RP, the whole team fight goes away. And then the fight is absolutely terrible. Great way from LGD to counter it. It is abusable and they're going for it. I love it. That is confidence.
Yeah, I think LGD, whatever it is going to take for them to really find themselves and play like LGD, they need to find it now. They don't have any more chances. You don't have another game to lose. This is going to be a good route, but I am still very worried for them and worried for what's going to go through their heads if they get into this game and it starts from south at any point.
You want to win TI, you have to be the best. You have to be the greatest team of the season, or at that point. And the greatest team has to be able to play Dota to their fullest, even down 0-2. And if they can't do that, then then it was Spirits. So now is the cornerstone. This is definitely where the final is going to be decided one way or another, or either it's going to be decided now, or we're going to get another round of great Dota, which I'm hoping for. Like, I want to see 5 games, but definitely. If LGD is going to break, it's going to be done.
I mean, what a run though. I gotta give Spirit a lot of credit and Collapse a lot of credit for what we've seen so far. It's been insane, the stuff that they're doing, the stuff that they're pulling out. If you were to go replay analysis, Spirit before today, you could pick up something, but this is still a different team than yesterday. They are better, they are more confident, they're more free, and they are picking whatever they feel like picking and doing whatever they feel like doing.
They're blossoming. It's beautiful to see. It's
I think we've seen that the entire lower bracket run. I mean, there are teams like, oh, maybe it can beat this team. I mean, unfortunately, they eliminated you guys, but throughout every series, I think, as you said, like, they're bringing out better and better Dota, and all this momentum, like, it's come crashing into LGD. Like, they were by far, I think, the favorites of this tournament, but now they're down 0-2. I want to mention this Undying pick. So in my head, like, Magnus, he repositions the fight, so maybe Undying has troubles with that, but is it just like because of the Rubik lift, they're so confident in stopping that? You can like anchor a fight with the Tombstone, or like what do you guys think about the pick?
It is possible. It's also a very good hero against Magnus on the lane. There's that too, and you also have to keep in mind they're playing second pick, so they have to kind of show cards. You probably better show an Undying card than another card. It's like strong laner, probably gonna allow Ame to pick out of a very wide pool hero because he knows that his lane is secure no matter what.
They also run out of Law at Faith Beyond.
Yeah.
So that could be a possibility.
It could be a possibility. Like the way I look at it, and I think strategy-wise, what could be very interesting from Team Spirit is like, okay, they get it. They're gonna try to stop this cure. But Magnus has been dominant for other reasons, as I mentioned. Maybe you can play an Empower strategy, where you can play like you can build up on top of this Magnus, get a hero to, the Mag Jugger, for instance. It's not as much about this cure than other things. You get this Jugger to a very strong moment. The Magnus can play without blinks. We've seen Magnus win games without blink dagger. You just build on top of, he goes back into blink, he can decide to go back into Greaves this game. Back into Greaves, into Crest, and put that on this one hero that's just gonna, and then this cure is never gonna happen. And now you're stuck with the Rubik that's just looking at it's like, it's sure happening, guys, because that's my job in this game and it's not happening. I'm just fade bolting.
Which is also where the Undying pick, I think, comes into maybe secure that these are fights that are going to happen. So now if you're playing on RP or playing on Empower, you're at least fighting into the Tombstone.
Yeah.
I get the pick, and also what you said, I think he suffers a lot from the Skewer play and the fight being repositioned. Already now, LGD are probably thinking about objectives together. They want, that's how you're going to enable this Tombstone, that's how you're going to enable your two heroes to kind of punish this Magnus.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But we'll see. I'm still worried for LGD. Now I'm seeing things, and I'm seeing this Morphling ban. I think it would also be a good pick for them. They're also worried about like a Willow Morph combo, but it's good against Mag. It would be good with Undying. It's what they're looking for forcing objectives and things like this. I wonder if they're going to have a solid plan going into this, if they're drafting free, or if Shao 8 is also dealing with all this pressure that they might be feeling. Being the favorite is having not lost many games before, and now losing games for like the first time. Ooh.
Again, I think it's dealing with the Magnus blink again. They're worried about that skewer. I really like what you said, Seb, about maybe making a pivot on the Magnus style. I think the other thing that this hides is whether Undying is actually a core or not. Because I think that's really what they're thinking about here.
That's one thing. I think there's two ways here. If Spirit can play Mag mid, I think it's very interesting this game. The Mag doesn't have to go into the Undying lane. Mag mid is Echo Saber Mag. He's just gonna blink, RP, kill. He doesn't cure back, and he is not gonna care as much about what's being built, and they get also to counterpick the Spectre greatly on the lane. It's a possibility, but they could also decide to double down. They go for the Mag PA. I mean, I think they're thinking about
This dude's playing everything.
Yeah, everything. And the PA shard versus Spectre, crazy. You don't scale into this. He will pop him in a second with Empower and with the shard. And I'm sure, Yatoro PA, for those that don't know Yatoro well enough, like, he is one of the greatest PA players ever. If you encounter him in the pub playing PA or watched him, this is his bread and butter. He's super comfortable.
He played it here, I forget who he was playing against, but he got Rampage in that game already at TI. So he is playing everything. He's literally playing every hero he can.
And I want to mention how LGD I am scared for them. I want them to bounce back. I want to see more LGD Dota. I want to see game 4. I want to see game 5. But they have played so far Tiny on track, Tiny Ogre, Tiny Mag. They have played ET, enabled ET that is also crushing the games. They have played Lycan. They have played these really powerful strategies. And so far, I don't see the multipliers here. I see the one Spectre, I see the one Undying, I see the one Bloodseeker, but I don't see the multipliers that LGD are so good at. They're creating these strategies and they're buffing them so much that it just breaks the game. I'm maybe missing it, but so far I don't see the game being broken from LGD side. So to me, Team Spirit has successfully pushed LGD out of their trademark this tournament.
I think Team Spirit's lineup also looks like it has a lot more potential. When you look at these fights and when you look at what's going on for LGD, tell me about what their gameplay is going to look like this game. How are they forcing a tower? How are they forcing a Roche? How are they forcing a fight this game? I don't like what's going on in the draft right now, where I already see that they're just addressing, oh, they pick PA, oh, we feel bad, oh, we need a Rupture to try and deal with it. It makes not a lot of sense with the Spectre, it makes not a lot of sense with the Undying and Rubik. Maybe with the Rubik for the lane, but still, there are picks in the game that could maybe make this come more together, find a way to scale into them, win the fights, get the Roche, play some team fights to actually make it happen for your team.
So is that what you think they're lacking on the LGD side? They just need some damage for objectives and maybe some more team fight.
Some way to force the fight. It can happen through objectives, it can happen through Roche, it can happen through catching them with a good spirit hero.
As for the last game, I'm going to try to make a case for LGD, for the LGD fans or the ones that are hopeful to see a game 4. They have very strong lanes. I mean, Bloodseeker versus PA, I speak from experience. Like, as an off-laner, I can tell you this is a free lane. Yep. He's going to have the lane of his life, especially with the Rubik on this lane. They did see the Magnus and they decided to go with the Undying and the Spectre, so I can only assume that they're happy with this lane too. So now these are 2 side lanes and they're going to get the last pick for nothing to say. He has proven that he can, truly dumpster a lane if he's given the tools for it.
Tinker's still in the pool this game.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
I think he plays an insane Tinker.
They also have a way to force these fights. I mean, at the end of the day, they do have Rupture plus Tombstone, and that is a way to fix the fight somewhere, and force them to fight into the Tombstone, give the Rubik freedom to position himself around the fight how he wants and gets his spells off. And and we all know what Xingqiu can do when he's enabled in these fights. There are ways for LGD to make that happen. I see the Tinker, then the Tinker would actually, Tombstone, Night Vision, Bloodseeker amplifying,
crazy. I would just be worried about how are they forcing a fight with this Tinker? How are they actually catching a hero? It has to be the Rupture, it has to be the lift. I don't think it's the best and easiest ways to force fights.
Early on, Rupture, ATOS, they have to build on it.
ATOS would be a really good, it would be a really good timing for them.
They have to build on top of that, and I see how the Tinker makes all of it. Nothing to say, one of the best Tinker players in the world. Incredible Tinker, actually. So good on the hero. You get the Spectre with the Ags, you get the Dagger Vision, meaning you get the enemy hero's vision. So Tinker's gonna see everything. He's gonna be amplified by Blood Rage and the Nighttime Tombstone Vision. Everybody's thanking the Tinker spells. Very beautiful pick, in my opinion, that can, once again, it might enable their entire lineup if they are willing to look at it.
What's left for in Toronto here? So there's a lot of heroes that are banned.
Do you feel like he needs a preemptive Tinker counter though? Because when you guys are talking about Tinker, I feel like it seems so free. I mean,
it's very free right now.
He has
very
to
free.
He has to. But no Puck, no Storm, no Void Spirit, no Ember Spirit. I don't know, man. Like, most of the heroes that he would want to pick are kind of gone.
Okay. That's a Toronto hero, but it's not an inherent Tinker counter. No. You can catch him, but you don't stay on top of him.
And nothing to say, he was a Tinker spammer. When he was like a C pub star, he was one of those guys.
Yes, give us the NTS C Tinker. We want to see it. Don't go out without it. He is the king of this hero. Come on, make it happen.
Here it is.
Okay, perfect.
Does this make you just favor LGDs? Because I think this is the first game I've seen their draft that looks cohesive with the Celeste.
I'm a huge Tinker believer. I believe that if you play this hero to the limit and you find ways to push his timings this game, I think he's going to shine. I think you're going to see this hero popping off, and he's going to be making Team Spirit run away. They're going to be dying from rockets. It could be a massacre. It always has the potential. This hero is so strong this patch, and yeah, one of the best Tinker players. I hope to see fireworks.
Yeah, regardless of what I want to see with TI, I want the game 4 at this point. So for this game, I'm all in LGD. I want them to take it. I want to see more Spirit. I want to see more LGD. I want to see more Dota. That's all I care about.
I want to see more Dota too, but I would be very happy to see Team Spirit win. I think these guys have shown the world some incredible games, and the beauty of the game and the beauty of these heroes and what you can actually make happen. So either way, I'll be happy for Team Spirit, but boy, I want to see more games too.
So I wait. Pep talk. You see it.
And the draft is finished, and we're going to head straight over to Casters with Insania and OD Pixel.
Thank you very much, Yowie. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 3 now of the Grand Finals. PSG LGD against Team Spirit. Team Spirit up at the moment, 2-0. One game away from potentially taking that championship spot. Insania, we heard from the panel there during the draft. They were they predicted it perfectly, this Tinker pick, and they were excited to see it. Could this be what allows PSG LGD to maybe turn the tides and get the momentum back under their grasps in this series?
I mean, I absolutely think so. Out of all the drafts that we've seen from them, this feels the most LGD. I felt like in the last game they didn't really have a way to fight. I feel like LGD's like proven we're one of the best teams at fighting you. And I feel like in the last 2 games they just didn't have a chance to do it. So I really like this draft from them, and I think they have a way to, battle out against Spirit. But at the same time, I see a way for Spirit to deal with a Tinker. I don't think it's an uncountered Tinker. I just think of the way Toro plays. I could easily see him, get on top of the Tinker and pick him off in a fight, come in from the sides with Meld, and, read the movement correctly. Because one of the themes for me about Team Spirit victories has been vision. And vision is the best way to deal with Tinker. This hero abuses vision better than most heroes. So I think the vision war that's going to happen between Spirit and LGD is going to be really interesting.
Already going to see both teams head-to-head it. Nice sort of catch from either of them, right? And try and hide in the pit. The rocket's starting to come out for nothing to say. It's Team Spirit that will back up in either side, able to get the grab that they wanted to potentially get that first blood. But let's see, as you say, definite potential here for PSG LGD and their lineup. But as we've seen so far, 2 games in which Team Spirit have looked to be completely in their comfort zone, and it does seem the pressure, it's certainly more so there for PSG LGD in this series.
Yeah, I absolutely think so. And I agree with something No-Tail said, where if this game starts looking bad, if the early game doesn't really go their way, I could easily see some potential crumbling coming out from LGD. But I feel like they have the makings of a good draft. When I look at it objectively, if this was like a first game of the series, I haven't seen either of these 2 teams play, I would have favored LGD's draft. I like what they're coming into this game with. They're setting up strong lanes, and they have Tinker to provide the damage for later team fights.
One thing, though, to me that sort of stands out looking at the lineup of PSG LGD, whilst they've definitely got a lot of heroes to create that vision, set up for the Tinker to go crazy in the team fight, sort of similar to, I believe, the Game 1 draft, there's not a lot of stuns.
Yep, you're right about that. And I think the idea here for them is that you're not really going to be committing into fights. You're not jumping a hero and then just trying to stun him and lock him down and chase him down. You're rather trying to burst somebody really quick and then resetting out. So the idea of using Rupture and then dropping Tombstone is going to be their key way of team fighting, and then you're going to use Rubik primarily for counter initiation. So when somebody comes into your backline, or when somebody chases down the Bloodseeker, that's when you'll see the Rubik coming with lift. That's when he's going to come in with a clutch tornado, or something along those lines.
Let's see how these lanes end up panning out here in the early game. Yatoro on his PA, as we said, this time a hero that he has already pulled out on the main stage.
I love this from Yatoro. If we take a look at the bottom lane, he's so good at doing this. As soon as you see Zinky run for this block on the small camp, he doesn't care if he misses a creep or 2. Just immediately runs over, make sure they get that pressure. Zinky's immediately forced to TP out. So that's mana.